Good morning. How is everyone? Fantastic. Well, hello, and thank you again to Dean Clagg, the Bloomberg School of Public Health, and the Advisory Council on Child Trafficking for inviting us to speak this morning on this incredibly important issue. Thank you, Congresswoman Elmers, for those wonderful words and for your dedication and passion and focus on this issue. It's truly wonderful to see. As we all know, the fight against modern-day slavery is a priority for a lot of people and a growing number of people. And it cuts across sectors, cuts across party lines. It's becoming a truly American fight. And it is definitely a priority for President Obama and this administration. We're passionately devoted to ending child sex trafficking. And so on behalf of the President, on behalf of Valerie Jarrett, who desperately wanted to be here today, but unfortunately couldn't make it, for which she apologizes, but has been a huge supporter of this fight, on behalf of Tina Chen, Secretary Sebelius, who you'll hear from later this morning, and everyone across the administration and across the government who's been working on this incredibly important issue. Thank you so much to all of you for everything that you have done, everything that you will do, your leadership, your commitment to help our children, our most vulnerable, who are so desperately in need. Since the President took office, we prosecuted a record number of human trafficking cases and provide critical funding to support the National Human Trafficking Resource Center, a national toll-free hotline available to answer calls and text messages anywhere in the country to help link trafficking victims with critical services. Last year, the President directed his cabinet to redouble the administration's efforts to eliminate human trafficking. Since then, we've made significant progress, and later this month, the President's interagency task force to monitor and combat trafficking will meet again to review progress and set the course for federal government action for the next year. We've worked to be more attuned, very importantly, to the needs of survivors. And so we've developed and provided tools and training to help identify and assist survivors. Through this training, professionals across the country will be better equipped to detect trafficking, but also to ensure that survivors are never treated as criminals. And in an effort led by Secretary Sebelius and HHS, we've also developed and recently released the first ever U.S. government-wide strategic action plan focused on victims of human trafficking that seeks to strengthen and coordinate services for survivors. This plan was just posted for public comment on April 9th, and we would like to ask all of you to please weigh in. The plan and all of us could really benefit enormously from your expertise. So please check out that plan and tell us what you think, what your input is. We partnered with Humanity United and the Goldman Sachs Foundation to launch the Partnership for Freedom Innovation Awards to challenge communities across the country to develop collaborative and comprehensive solutions to help trafficking survivors. We've taken other actions, such as streamlining current procedures for the existing T-visa process so survivors can remain in the U.S. and help bring their traffickers to justice. And we strengthened our support for the fight with the 2014 budget that President Obama just released a few weeks ago. For the first time, the budget includes $20 million focused specifically on the needs of domestic survivors of human trafficking, many of whom are women and children. This amount will fund direct services such as housing assistance and counseling to survivors of trafficking. It will help train service providers and, very importantly, invest in data collection, research, and evaluation. And, last but definitely not least, on a topic that I'd like to focus on this morning, we are working energetically as part of a growing movement to mobilize the power of data, tech, and innovation to help win the fight against the evil of child sex trafficking. When Tina Chen and the White House Council on Women and Girls approached me last summer to join the administration's efforts to combat trafficking, I leapt at the opportunity. And I'll admit that when I first came to this issue, I had no idea of the scope and depth of the problem, of the evil, here in the U.S. internationally. As Congresswoman Elmers mentioned, there is still so much that we don't yet know about the issue and have to learn. But one thing we do know is that technology has played a significant role, unfortunately, in enabling and facilitating the sale of girls and young women online for sex. We all know that we cannot and should not cede this ground. We knew that we need to find ways to use the power of tech to fight back in powerful and creative ways, which is why on July 25th, we invited 40 experts in the anti-trafficking field, advocates and survivors, leading technologists and researchers, federal, state, local law enforcement, and others to a brainstorming session at the White House to discuss how we could leverage the power of tech to fight child sex trafficking. Organized by the incredible Vivian Graubard and Lynn Overman, it turned into an absolutely fantastic session, and it was actually the first time I met Allison Abner, one of our fabulous hosts here today. In this session, the group spent several hours brainstorming different approaches and formulating work that needed to be executed to move the ball forward, efforts that in many ways resonate with what this symposium is addressing today and tomorrow. In particular, we identified 3 areas where tech could help achieve better outcomes. 1, to equip law enforcement with the technology and information they need to rescue girls and put traffickers behind bars. 2, to create tools to help advocates and reach out to girls where they are, online and on their mobile phones, to link them with critical services in their communities. And 3, to foster and expand information sharing between law enforcement, academia, and the private sector so that top researchers like Mark Latinero, Dana Boyd, Jennifer Musto, and others here today can help all of us make data-driven, research-validated decisions. Just a few weeks after that July 25th summit, which was amazing, President Obama gave a landmark speech on trafficking at the Clinton Global Initiative annual meeting. If you haven't seen it, I strongly encourage you to watch it. In his speech, he had a message to survivors. He said, and I quote, "We see you. We hear you. We insist on your dignity. And we share your belief that if just given the chance, you will forge a life equal to your talents and worthy of your dreams." This very symposium today was created in conjunction, as Dean Clegg said, with the President's call to action at CGI as a gathering of public servants, doctors, lawyers, mental health professionals, nurses, advocates, researchers, and technologists to reaffirm this message. We see you. We hear you. And in that speech, the President massively amplified the call to action to leverage the power of data and tech to fight the evil of trafficking. He talked about the need to turn the tables on the traffickers. Just as they are now using technology and the internet to exploit their victims, he said, we need to harness the power of technology to stop them. And what happened next? Innovators from across the country have responded to this call to action with incredible creativity, ingenuity, and passion. And we saw the initial spectacular results of their work on April 9th, when we held a White House forum to combat human trafficking. We brought together leaders from across government, including Valerie Jarrett, Tina Chen, Secretary Napolitano, Attorney General Holder, leaders from the private sector, advocates, survivors, faith leaders, law enforcement, academics, to discuss what we can do together and now to end human trafficking. And as part of this forum, innovators who had answered the President's call to action presented amazing tech tools that they had built at blinding speed to help fight child sex trafficking and get victims the help they need. As an example, Fairgirls presented a fantastic new victims outreach and education tool that they had built. Polaris Project announced a new texting channel, 24/7, into the National Human Trafficking Hotline, where actually folks who staff the hotline can pick up at the other end customized information about local help available for victims wherever they are. Thorn presented a remarkable new tech-based tool that helps law enforcement better identify child sex trafficking victims in online advertisements through automated analysis. Researchers from IBM, MIT, and the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland presented their findings on the use of technology in photo manipulation and how this work could be used to identify victims on the internet. JP Morgan Chase and Palantir announced a collaboration to use powerful financial data analytics to help fuel the fight against traffickers. We were all that day absolutely astounded by the work that had been done by these groups. The day was an incredible display of the power of what the President calls an all-hands-on-deck approach, to solving problems. He believes to the core of his being that America is at its best when we actually join arm in arm as brothers and sisters across the public sector, private sector, nonprofit sector, academic sector, faith sector, to work together to solve problems that we individually can't solve by ourselves. The forum was a living illustration of the power of this approach, of the emerging genius of an ecosystem of action across the country, powered by Americans from all walks of life, dedicated to working together to fight evil and to do good. And in the spirit of all hands on deck, we're also incredibly excited to be working with heroic, and there's no other word for it, heroic law enforcement leaders from the New Jersey State Police, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to explore ways that tech and private sector innovation can aid federal and state law enforcement efforts as models for the rest of the country, laboratories to learn and develop new approaches and tools that can then scale across the country. I believe we're joined here today by Lieutenant Karen Hughes of the Las Vegas PD and Tracy Thompson, the director of the New Jersey Attorney General's Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force. I'll tell you, if you need any inspiration at all, go hang out for a few minutes with Karen and Tracy and anyone else here who works on the front lines of this issue, because they are truly heroic and heroes to every one of us. And these heroes on the front line need all of our help. For example, we know that traffickers will bring women and girls to the streets and hotels of New Jersey around the 2014 Super Bowl. We and others are already working with Tracy, New Jersey Attorney General Jeff Chiesa, and our partners in the New Jersey State Police Department to begin to develop protocols to help prevent trafficking, deter buyers, and immediately link victims to services. As I look out into this audience and all the brilliant people, incredible people, who traveled here from near and far to be here today, I'm confident that we together, can find the answers to these challenges. And we know that while technology is important, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Technology alone can't save lives. Data alone can't protect a child from exploitation. But technology and data can be a big help. Without data, we cannot begin to fully understand what is happening. And if we don't know what's happening, we can't build the tools or create the protocols that we need to prevent it and to bring safety to victims, justice to traffickers, and prevent future harm to the innocent. We also need to do a better job of safely and securely sharing data so that our first responders and service providers can know what is happening in real time, whether that data is from the agency down the street or the court system across the country. We've made great progress together in the fight against child sex trafficking, but we still have a long way to go. And I know that we will all continue fighting until the fight is won. And that's why we're all here today. We come together as one to tell our young people, you are not alone. We see you. We hear you. We will end the evil of child sex trafficking in our country and across the world. Like Congresswoman Elmers, I'm so excited to be here today to help kick off this symposium, because what you are doing here is a critical step in moving us all forward, in bringing all of the pieces of the puzzle together, and in working together to bring this evil at last to an end. It's a fight that we as Americans can win, that we must win, and that we will win together. God bless you for taking this on. God bless you for everything you've already done. God bless you even more for what you are about to do. Thank you so much for everything you are doing. God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.